Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves.
How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for your first look at the Captain America by Ta-Nehisi Coates Omnibus from Marvel Comics. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, before going any further, I do want to thank David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us an advance copy of this omnibus. This omnibus is due out in the direct market and book market on July 25th or 26th, depending on where you get your books. And speaking of direct market, that's the cover we're looking at right here. This is the direct market cover by Alex Ross. On the left-hand side is your standard edition cover that's going to be available everywhere, also by Alex Ross. Both beautiful paintings by the legendary Alex Ross. Everything else underneath the dust jacket is the same, though. So here we have this wonderful image of Captain America with the Capitol in the background, and then New York Times. I guess not really the background, right? It's like just him fading into the Capitol. New York Times bestselling author Ta-Nehisi Coates, and some of the artists he's working with: Leonard Kirk, Adam Kubert, Jason Masters, Bob Quinn, Lionel Francis Yu. Captain America logo. I like the fact that he's in front of the logo. That's nice. Marvel Omnibus, Captain America by Ta-Nehisi Coates, Kirk, Kubert, Masters, Quinn, and Yu. And then that picture right there by Lionel Francis Yu. Then the back here telling you a little bit as to what's going on, and the retail price being $100. Now, this run has been previously collected in a series of 5 trade paperbacks. It's also been collected in 2 oversized hardcovers. And we're going to be looking at the book itself here in a little bit and seeing if there's anything extra that was not collected in the 2 oversized hardcovers. But before we take it out of its dust jacket and look inside the book, people I'm sure are asking me where I'm putting this in the chronological order of Captain America. I'm putting it right there after Nick Spencer, well, Volume 1, but it will be Volume 2 when Volume 2 comes out. However, there is something missing in between, and that is the Captain America by Mark Waid in Chris Samnee era. So it's the 3rd time that Mark Waid got to come back to Captain America, and it's issues of Captain America 695 to 704. And then we get to the Ta-Nehisi Coates era. So those issues have not been collected in oversized format. Those issues have been collected in 2 trade paperbacks. And I know people have asked if I could ask Marvel if they get added to the back of the Nick Spencer Volume 2. I did ask, but I haven't heard. So, you know, fingers crossed, who knows, maybe. But as of right now, those are not available in oversized hardcover, nor are they in the printing of Captain America by Mark Waid Omnibus, but in trade paperback. Alright, so back to this after talking about the reading order. Let's take a look underneath the dust jacket. Here we have the flaps. Captain America, Ta-Nehisi Coates examines an American icon, the creators. Little bio on the right hand side on the creators, including the writer and artist. And then this really killer design underneath the dust jacket. No, it may seem simplistic, but I dig it. I like that. I like Captain America being in black, bold letters there. And then the writer's name, Ta-Nehisi Coates, like that. Alright, we're going to crack this book open and talk about the premise, what's going on through this era of Captain America. And, of course, show off this artwork. In case you haven't read Captain... I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens through the pages of Nick Spencer's run or Rick Remender's run. But there are some ramifications of that run that take place here. But then again, there's things from Mark Gruenwald's run that can be found here. But, you know, just in case, I guess minor spoilers. So, let's go ahead and start. Alright, let's go ahead and crack it open. You have this navy blue end sheet right there, Captain America. I like that. Lionel Francis Yu image over here, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And then the creators, Lionel Francis Yu, Adam Kubert. The colorist, Frank Martin. He gone way too early. Jerry Alangulan, who was the inker mainly for Lionel Yu. And then you have other artists in here like Jason Masters and Nico Walter, Bob Quinn, and Lucas Wernick. And then Daniel Acuna coming in to help out. And we kick it off with the Free Comic Book Day, We Who Loved America, a prologue. So this contains the Free Comic Book Day 2018 Avengers, Captain America, and just the Captain America story. And then Captain America 1 through 30, the 2018 series. The book retails for $100 and it has 696 pages. So we kick it off with a brand new era, and it feels like every time you start off with a new writer, they try to kick off their own way, their own new era of Captain America. And rightly so. It's like taking the idea of this man out of time and putting it back into comics. And that's Rick Remender did the same thing. Nick Spencer did the same thing. And of course, Ed Brubaker doing the same thing in his run. Ta-Nehisi Coates, however, does something pretty unique. He keeps Captain America in the same way that like Mark Grumal has written him. Like, he really does feel like a man out of time. And it's not in the negative way, like in the pages of Frontline. I don't know if y'all remember the Civil War Frontline, where they were pretty much arresting Captain America or blaming him for the explosion because he was so out of touch with America because he didn't have a MySpace account. Like, it's not like that. It's more like there are things that are happening within the government, and he's just out of touch with it because he's been fighting crime, and he himself has been accused of being evil because of the things that happen in Secret Empire. So Secret Empire plays a little role in here. Something you may have noticed is that there's, oh, I love that. That is so awesome. I wish that could have been one of the variants. No offense to Alex Ross, he's a legend, but Ron Garney just kills it in that cover. So the first story arc, because this is broken up into 5 different stories with one main villain kind of overseeing everything. I do love this, though. This is nice. Is about the return of this character named Nuke. Of course, if you've read Born Again or any Captain America comic from the 80s, you probably are familiar with that particular character. And he's joined, or he is joined by other nukes, if you will. And of course, all of it has ties to Hydra and a brand new villain. There is a surprise character in here from the pages of X-Men who's kind of siding with Hydra, and that is, of course, the Black Queen herself, Selene. And she plays an interesting role in all of this. Thunderbolt Ross plays a bigger part in this instead of in the pages of the Thunderbolts or the Incredible Hulk. And there's this whole sense of why the people that are Nuke feel betrayed by Captain America, why they feel like they were left behind. And Captain America, you know, Steve Rogers, being the character that he is, feels so much guilt over all this stuff, so he doesn't know exactly how to deal with it. Now, the first story arc sets up exactly what I was just talking about, the fights with Nuke. And then we get some returning villains in here. Again, Hydra never comes alone. We get the next story arc. Now, the next story arc is drawn by Adam Kubert. In this one, Captain America is wanted for murder. And, of course, some of the country has turned their back on him because of the things that happen in, like I mentioned, Secret Empire. So Captain America is wanted for murder, and he goes on the run. And it's really cool. This is Dryad, a really interesting character. But it's really cool because in issue number 7, we are introduced to, let's go back actually because it's worth checking out the shot, the Daughters of Liberty. So these are characters you're probably familiar with from the pages of Marvel Comics that are siding with Captain America and are willing to do things like break him out of prison. Again, sometimes the variant covers are on the opposite page or opposite side of the standard cover. And this arc is pretty interesting because, again, it goes back to the idea of Captain America betraying everybody because of the events of Secret Empire and how the country as a whole kind of feels about him. You have returning characters in here. Now, Sharon Carter, through these pages, does look a little bit different because of what happened towards the end of Nick Spencer's run. So that's, if you're asking why she looks the way she does here, and that happens towards Nick Spencer's run of his Captain America issues. And of course, we get to take back the classic Steve Rogers. I always liked that Brubaker costume. I think it was designed actually by Alex Ross, but during his run, I thought that costume was awesome. And honestly, Kubert's art here kind of reminds me a little bit of Ron Garney's artwork. So that's pretty much the first 2 story arcs. And the next story arc is all about Captain America trying to prove his innocence. And he's not alone. Again, he's with the Daughters of Liberty. And we have the return of the Scourge. And the Scourge was introduced mainly through the pages of Mark Gruenwald's Captain America. But it impacted the Marvel Universe as a whole. So the whole mystery of the Scourge is back. And again, leaving a lot more questions as to who exactly could be the Scourge. And you'll see Steve go through some hurdles here, especially when you get to the 4th arc, where he is just down and out. He feels like he's been hunted. Feels like he's framed and nobody believes him. And he feels disgraced and almost betrayed by some of the people who he fought alongside. So I guess this would be really there's mainly 4 storylines, because this one leads directly into the next one. Now, there is a return of a certain Iron Man costume in here, the Iron Patriot, but who is behind the Iron Patriot is a pretty interesting twist. And because Sharon Carter looks a little bit different, does that mean we have a new Agent 13? Well, maybe. That's all I will say about that. Let's get to the final story arc. So here we are with the final story arc, pretty much issues 26 through 30. Even though, like I said, really issues 21 through 30 feel like the final story arc. But, to be fair, since it has like one overall arc that kind of brings it all together, it's nicely wrapped up towards the end. So here Ta-Nehisi Coates wraps up everything that he's done to Steve through his run. He's made him a fugitive, he's made him a prisoner, he has been betrayed by the people he's trusted, and now he's given up his costume. But it's Captain America, and like it says in this pages, when does Captain America ever quit? Well, the answer is really never. But here he comes back, not alone, but with friends and new friends, to take back his cowl. I guess it's always been a cowl, huh? But the shield, taking back the shield. Why did I go with cowl instead of shield? Anyway, to take back the shield that rightly belongs to him. I wanted to come back towards the beginning to talk about the run as a whole. I really liked the first half of this book. I thought the first half of this book really was a throwback to the classic Captain America. And you throw the Scourge in a book, and I immediately, of course, think back of those Mark Gruenwald days. The second half, I feel, it didn't really stick to its landing. Like, I felt like what happens with a lot of writers that end up writing Captain America is that they use the same type of tropey villains that everybody else has used. And I was hoping it was something new, but at the end of the day, when talking about Captain America, it's really his comic, so it really doesn't matter who his villain is. But honestly, I feel like Jack Kirby's right. The villains do make the heroes. So I was hoping for some more twists and turns, and I didn't really get that in the second half. The first half, yeah, totally. I dug the first half. I kind of wanted more of the first half, and it could have continued, and I definitely would have followed a comic with the Daughters of Liberty, especially the Dryad right there. The artwork, like I said, Lionel Francis Yu, Adam Kubert, Leonard Kirk, just to name a few of the artists, Daniel Acuna doing a fill-in issue, but this is the style that you're going to get towards the end of the book, and this is the style that's towards the beginning of the book. So there is a little bit of a difference. Now, let's look at the back matter here. So you have an afterword here by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is also found in the second oversized hardcover. And then your variant covers. And again, the variant covers, much like the oversized hardcover, sometimes are on the opposite page of the standard edition cover. And that is a beautiful piece. I may have said that in my original review. I will say I was hoping that these would be splash pages instead of thumbnail pages, though, for some of these. Because in the oversized hardcovers, we do get some of these in splash pages. And yes, we do have thumbnail covers, but some of them are in splash pages. And I was hoping that this being the Omnibus, it would be all splash pages. But unfortunately not. But you do have some, just not all. And I would love to have seen some of the... Whoa, that's awesome. It's by Patrick Searcher. I would have loved to have seen some in oversized format. I don't know why that one is, but I do like Mirka Andolfo. She's a phenomenal artist. So as far as any more extras that are not included in the oversized hardcovers, not really. It's just different cover choices that are splash page. This is the OHC over here. than what the oversized hardcovers have. So there's really nothing extra from the oversized hardcovers. But I will say, the paper stock, this is, by the way, printed at the iMac printer. So let's actually look at the eye really quick. It is sewn binding. It has 696 pages, as I stated. And here's what the eye looks like. Printed at the iMac printer. But the paper stock they're using for this omnibus is really thicker than the paper stock they use for the oversized hardcovers. That's not to say that there's not bleed through, though. There's a little bit of bleed through coming whenever there's light pages like this. I'm sure you can see, I think that's a building or a frame. Nope, it's a bridge. But you can see the frames coming through the opposite page. Not all the time, but just sometimes, especially when it's lighter or it's white. But light colors, you can see it bleed through. As far as the way the book lays over, you do have minimal gutter loss. And honestly, it's just a little bit better than the oversized hardcover. Right here. You have to hold it down a little bit to see the full finger. Yeah. So, just want to be thorough with the overview. But that's it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this omnibus, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the content, the page count, and build of this book. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking this up, if Captain America is your favorite character, and what other runs you would love to see collected in omnibus format. Finally getting that Mark Grunwald, baby, in 2024, and I cannot wait. But I would love to know if you want Steve Englehart, if you want a continuation of the classic stuff with the Volume 5, and yeah, what other run you would love to see, and how they should collect that Mark Waid era. So, any comments, questions, leave them down below. Smash that like button. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. And let me clarify, the second Mark Waid era. Not the second, the third Mark Waid era. Yeah, after the Rick Remender stuff. That's it. Much love.